broke the hoodoo against Collingwood. How did you do it?
I was there a hoodoo. It wasn't the best win-loss record we were running on. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we knew eventually we would get one. We've had so many really good battles with Collingwood, especially over the recent years, and we haven't been able to get it done for all different reasons. One, they're a very good side. They've shown they're probably one of the best in close games at getting it done. A little bit more experience than us in previous hit-outs. And so for us, we knew that eventually it'd go our way and we'd learn from a lot of lessons and find a way to do it. And we did that tonight. It was really gutsy. We just dug in deep and got a lot of things right.
How do you sum it up? When you talk about the players you lock up 2 home finals with such a scrappy win, how do you sort of measure it?
Well, we talked through what the real positive stuff was, but we also talked reality of it wasn't our best night again, and that's similar to, I guess, post last week. We didn't play our best footy and we found a way. Tonight we didn't play our best footy and we found a way. Different games, different opponents, but I think our group are developing quickly, and I think the belief, I know the belief is there. We actually know how to win, whether we have to grit our teeth and fight it out in the trenches like we did tonight, or whether it is like you saw a month or so ago where we were playing probably our best football. So we've already spoken post-game, so we're heads down on trying to find our way back to our best.
What's the reality of conceding clearances, conceding big numbers of inside 50s? What's the reality of that for you?
It was an interesting night in that space because where the scoreboard sat, where the game was at, both teams seemed happy to play with one behind the ball. It was quite testing conditions. The rain came in at the break. We were mindful of what can ignite Collingwood without going into too much detail because we play, there's a chance we probably play again. But it looked as though both teams were happy to keep that +1 behind the ball. We also respect their midfield. You go from the first quarter, you sort of look at it and you say, well, we gave them too much space around that stoppage, and Scott Pendlebury was extremely dangerous. And we were able to work through that after quarter time. And then we felt the game was in a position we were happy to continue playing it for the rest of the game, which had us up on the scoreboard. So we weren't going to pull too many triggers to change that.
So the flip side of that number of inside 50s Collingwood have, your defence doesn't allow itself to be opened up, doesn't allow Collingwood to isolate anyone, doesn't allow them to go deep inside 50 at times as well. How much do you look at that and say, I'm not interested in the number, but how the defence handled it?
Well, there's a balance. I'm not sure we're going to win too many games with 70 to 30. But the pleasing part is that our defenders, our defenders they've embraced what we talk about with defensive stability. They work hard, and we also structure up where our pressure on the footy is strong enough. So it's right across the board. It's an area of belief in the way we play. The game's won on the scoreboard, so there are times where we will keep one back behind the ball, and we felt that tonight. We know how dangerous Collingwood can be if they're given space, especially out, forward of the ball, and we didn't want to ignite that tonight.
I think it was the lowest inside 50 count of the season. Can you recall winning a game with disparity like that? No, but it was what was required tonight. It was a lot slipperier. We've had a number of games in the last month or so where we've played in really trying conditions. Tonight was extremely slippery, and so we knew it was going to be a battle. We went into a battle mode. We came off a game where we felt like our energy and our intensity wasn't at the level. Tonight we wanted to bring that. Quarter time we really let ourselves down to that point, and it was more so the chess game that we felt the pieces weren't in the right spots, and so we adjusted slightly, and the game went into a fight, and we were happy to do that for 3 quarters. In the end, that
some will call it luck, we got across the line, but we've been in that position and haven't, and we've been working on that for a number of years. You know, what is that mode that we need to go into in that scenario, and our guys executed it really well tonight.
What were your biggest learnings? You touched before about learnings from previous times against Collingwood. What were some of those? Given how close they've been in the past.
Well, you learn every time you lose a game. Well, you learn every game, but you seem to learn a lot more when you don't get it right. I think there's, you know, you get the attention of the players when you don't get results. Everyone sort of focuses in on how, and we don't want to go through that again. So how do we get this right? And tonight was an example of that. You won't see it in the TV. You'll see guys going in hard, battling, you know, winning balls that we really need to win. But from a structural point of view, our guys executed so well tonight.
Well, it's getting tight like that. You talk about a battle, but do you sit in the box saying, maybe I do throw, you know, so just throw this one and see what happens, or did you feel it was better to hold like you did tonight?
No, we constantly. I think I've said it before. As coaches, our work's done during the week, and our players play on game day. Players win the game on game day, and as a coach, at least the way our group works, we don't want to get in the way. We would rather allow our players to work their way through areas, but we will help them whenever we can. Like, you know, if that's at a break, or if there is a structural shift that we need to make. But we're hesitant to do that too often, because where we sit, the game's so easy. Down on the grass, for those who sit boundary side, they can see how hard the hits come and how fast the game is. And so we keep that in the back of our mind. Allow the players to do what they have trained to do, and then if they don't get that right, then we look back on ourselves as a coaching group and say, what have we done wrong in the teaching? Tonight we didn't change a lot from quarter time onwards for that reason.
You've been so careful to keep a lid on things and players and that sort of thing now. Can you feel it now? You're going to finish top two. You've got 2 home finals, possibly the minor premiership. The Crows are back. Can you feel that?
Well, the lid's obviously not on, is it? When 54, we broke the record tonight, biggest AFL crowd ever at the stadium. The lid's not on in South Australia. The lid's on inside the 4 walls of our footy club, because we know we have to stay in that space. But I've come out and said, I think our fans, I think South Australia should be rocking at the moment, and it is. Like that's a huge crowd, and so tonight, that win puts us now in a position that allows us to do that again, and gets South Australia up and going, and our members and supporters have had it tough, and now they're in a space going, let's rip the lid off. But we're not. Internally, our guys, we actually just had a conversation about it. Like, they're in doing recovery right now and getting themselves ready, because we've got to find our form. We want to find our best again, and that's our mindset.
So the lid's off then for the fans, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, for our members and supporters, I think they're enjoying footy, and I'm glad they are. I reckon they should be up and about.
Can I just ask talk about capturing your best, not to then take it to a negative skew, but we're one game away for the finals. Is that a concern for you right now when you look back at the Hawthorn game, the slow start, the West Coast slump in the middle of the game, and then the slow start again tonight? Are you worried?
No, looking forward to it, because we've still got a game now to play, and that is the opportunity that we will take and we'll go into and try and get back to our best. When you're winning games of footy, you're doing a lot right. So, that's what we'll do. We'll just dig in and try and... We know we're going to have to be better when it comes to finals footy. We'll dig in and try and be better.
Could you imagine this at the start of the season, top 2 finish?
No, because we didn't focus on that. That wasn't, when we set out to what was it we wanted to achieve from this year, we wanted to lock in on week by week and process of what was going to get us possibly to this point. But we sit in the change rooms after the game, and I'm able to just point to Alex Neil-Bullen. What have we achieved, Alex? He goes, nothing. He's an experienced guy who's been through a fair bit of footy and has achieved the ultimate. We haven't achieved anything yet. Murray Davis, the same. So we're lucky to have those sort of guys in with us to share that experience. But we're locked in. It's been the weapon for us. And so now it's I think we're 7-day break, 7-day break into our last round. That's what we're on.
What you have achieved is a major turnaround by being very strategic in the way you were going to do it. Do you value if it comes with a minor premiership? There's other coaches who've come like Neil Craig valued a minor premiership in an era long ago.
I think things like that you might look back on as a group and say, what a great achievement. But if you lose yourself now and start thinking about that, we lose focus of what it is we have to do.
It's a confirmation of what you're about.
I'm really proud of what our footy club's been able to achieve, yes. But that's, I looked at last year and felt there were a number of things that didn't really go our way, and we had to improve in a few areas. We got a few things wrong. Well, you might argue a lot of things that we had to improve on. So I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to turn that around. But it's not, we're not looking at anything at the moment that comes to a minor premiership. We're locked in on week by week.
Just in terms of personnel for next week, do you consider resting given the situation now? And also, can we just get an update on Matt Crouch after we draw from sample today?
Yeah, Matt, I'll go to Matty first. Matty was a little bit sore from the week, so we might have gone a little hard during the main session. He'll just take it easy for a little bit now, try and work his way back. He's getting a little bit of soreness, which is disappointing for him because he's put a lot of work in. But again, we don't know exactly where that's at this point. We'll assess him tomorrow and make sure we get that right. As far as management of players, unfortunately we lost. So Lairdy missed through suspension, and he'd already been managed for a game. Tex is managed for a game as well. Only players that we feel need that management, that we feel it might make them stronger, but you'd be looking at 2 weeks if we did that in the last round. So without getting ahead, I can't say I don't think we will manage too many.
I know you said it wasn't 100, but what can it do for the psychology of the team if you happen to play it again? The fact that you haven't got that monkey off the back.
Oh no, we come out tonight with incredible belief, but we believed before we came into this game that if it got close, we were going to win it. So the guys know how to win, and that's a spot we want to stay in. There's definitely no lack of belief.
Just a word on Mark King.
Oh, well, he's starting to push his way into my favourite again, isn't he? He gets better and better every week, and he's still so raw. And he's in amongst a really good group. Like they're connected so well, which helping. But yeah, he's unique, isn't he?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.